Last Friday, Halo Studios announced Halo Campaign Evolved for Xbox, PC, and PlayStation. That's cool and all, but this is Inside Games Daily, the only gaming news show brave enough to ask, will a campaign-only remake of a 2001 game be enough to rejuvenate Halo in 2026?
No, probably not. But it's too early to be so cynical. We got a new Halo. Hooray, we should rejoice for now. It's good until it's out, in our minds at least.
That's true.
And we can save our hot takes until later. Let's cover all the news first.
All right. Halo Campaign Evolved launches in 2026 for Xbox, PC, and PlayStation. Very important there. Once the novelty of that wears off, here are the features. Lawrence will tell you the features.
Yeah. It's got some stuff going for it. So this game is a full remake from the ground up of Halo Combat Evolved's campaign. It also includes 3 new prequel missions focusing on Sergeant Johnson. Everyone loves him.
Yeah, I love Sergeant Johnson.
Sergeant Johnson.
The game also supports 2-player split-screen co-op and 4-player online co-op.
I was looking up Sergeant Johnson to make sure it was the guy I was thinking of.
I don't know.
He's the guy who shouts generic military shit at you. He's got a mustache and a hat and a cigar because he's a sergeant. 2001 was a different time. Anyway, yeah. Online multiplayer will be cross-play and cross-progression.
That's cool. All the game's cutscenes have been refreshed with motion capture animations and re-recorded dialogue from the game's returning cast. I think that's really neat.
That is really neat. Yeah. It makes me wonder how the performances will change over time, but I guess we'll see. Speaking of audio, all the music and sound effects have been reworked. So the music has been reorchestrated. We got new crisp sound effects that are mixed in a more modern way. That's cool.
There are 9 new weapons from other Halo games that'll appear in Campaign Evolved, like the Energy Sword. Wait a minute, was the Energy Sword not in the first one?
You couldn't use it in one. You could see it. Yeah, you couldn't pick it up.
Wow. Oh, that's crazy. The Battle Rifle, which I also thought was in the first one. The Needler. The Needler wasn't in the first one either?
The Needler was. The Needle Rifle is a different gun.
Ah, the Needle Rifle, of course. And more.
And more, yeah. This is your excitement rising or falling as we're listing individual rifles you'll be able to use? I'm not sure. This is potentially something that people who played Halo a million times will be really into. They're adding more skulls. So many skulls. In fact, they claim this will have the most skulls of any Halo game. So if you're unfamiliar, skulls are these little modifiers you turn on that make the campaign harder or goofier. And you can turn on multiple of them at a time to just make the playthrough much more difficult. Also leads to Lasso as legendary all skulls on. So they're saying if you turn all the skulls on this one, this will be an impossible Halo challenge. Wow. So Halo heads get on it, I guess. But yeah, there you go. It's going to have more skulls.
All right. Master Chief can sprint now, which I also thought he could do in the first one, but I guess not. He walked very, very slow when I played it. Although IGN's preview mentions you'll be able to turn the sprint off if that matters to you.
Yeah, if you're a purist or if you just don't want to use it. You'll also be able to mount vehicles, so you can drive the Wraith now instead of just look at it. And they added a 4th seat to the back of the Warthog to accommodate for 4-player co-op. So they've reworked the vehicles a little bit too.
Oh, that's awesome. Unfortunately, we don't have any details regarding the game's new additions, those 3 prequel missions featuring Sergeant Johnson. So that could be anybody's guess. It could be Master Chief naked in the bathroom. We get to see his butt. Or it could be him having sex with that lady from the television show. Who knows?
Ooh, they're borrowing a little God of War, huh? On PlayStation? A little Master Chief fucking minigame? Let's hope, because we gotta hope, I guess. This is where I'm getting to. As the game's name implies, no multiplayer at all. I mean, apart from co-op. So that's what we got, which I think leads to some spicy questions. The first one on my mind is how much is this going to cost? Because they didn't announce pricing, and it is just a campaign, which is not even. Most people don't even ship a game like that anymore unless it's like an Assassin's Creed. It's some open world thing that's a whole universe. So we're looking at we're looking at a linear shooter campaign in the year of our Lord 2026. They can't ask full price for this, can they?
$70, Lawrence. They will ask $70.
Oh, they can't. No.
We will be lucky if it's not $80. This will be $70 through and through. This is Microsoft. They just raised prices on everything. This is 100% going to be $70, especially on PlayStation. Because
no way.
They need to sell the.
I was thinking at 40. I was thinking $40.
$70.
It's only a campaign. It's less content. Well, it's got the 3 prequel missions and more guns and stuff. It's less content than the original Halo Combat Evolved, which had multiplayer.
Yeah, that's true.
It had LAN. Like, it had some cool new features for the time. Didn't have online. That was Halo 2. But still, how do you charge more money for less. You can't do that, Bruce. You can't.
They will, and I'm look. Hey, I could be wrong, and it's $50. Probably look. Hey, if we're lucky on the low end, I say it's 50. I think this is a full 70 because they have people to sell this to on PlayStation, and people will pay $70 for this on PlayStation. People on Xbox and PC will they'll, you know what? Maybe it's on PC 60, right? Like maybe on Steam it's 60 or whatever. And then on PlayStation, full 70 all the way through.
I can't. So that leads to the next question, I guess. If let's presume that it's $70, which I think would be that would probably anger people, I think, because they'd expect like a $70 game or $70 worth of content. But do you think that if this is going to be PlayStation players' first exposure to Halo as a game they can buy and own, do you think they're missing the boat by not including multiplayer, which is what hooked most people onto Halo in the first place?
I think if they do what I said, which is charge $70 for the single player campaign with co-op, I feel like they're going to then bring over Master Chief Collection. I think Master Chief Collection will then go over to PlayStation, and then they'll charge whatever $40 for that or something. I don't know if they'll do a remake on that. Probably not. It's probably just going to be whatever it was when it launched on PC and Xbox. I think it's on Steam, right? If you move it over to PlayStation, then you can charge $40 for that, and then they've got their multiplayer, and then people won't complain. Well, they won't complain. This is what I'm thinking. I could be, again, Microsoft could be a benevolent god and say it's $40. I don't think there's any world they charge $40 for this. But I think they'll bring over Master Chief Collection. There's no way that they can separate the two and then be like, and we remade the multiplayer, and here's that for $40, right? They'd never do that. For only Halo 1 multiplayer? That doesn't make any sense.
I mean, to me, that does. That is a 20-year-old game in a new engine, and that's it. So it would make sense to me to include multiplayer in, like, to see those old maps in Unreal Engine 5. That would probably hit people's nostalgia more effectively and more sustainably than a campaign that, even at the time, was showing its age. I'm gonna get into my rants a little bit, but Combat Evolved, compared to other shooters that were around it, not on console but on PC, was already pretty mid. I mean, Combat Evolved compared to Half-Life Half-Life already had a little more juice in terms of being a narrative kind of linear shooter campaign. So that is not gonna. I don't think there's a whole lot about. There is a lot about Combat Evolved that is timeless, but not all of it is timeless. I'm gonna be honest. Like the visuals, the sound effects, the characters to some degree, the setting for sure, some of the levels, the first level, the third level, but man, it is a 2001 console shooter outside of that. And if that's what they remake, if you're just doing endless hallways and identical looking rooms in the library for 45 minutes straight, I think PlayStation users are going to be like, this is what, I mean, compared to PlayStation's Killzone, right? It's not that much different. But you could not charge $70 for a Killzone 1 remake now with just the campaign. And that's kind of what I'm hearing. Oh, 3 prequel missions for Killzone. Wow. I don't know. It just seems like a really, like $40 to me. I keep going back to that. I can't believe that they would charge $70 for this. If they want new fans, and if this is seen as an entry point, even though it has less than the first game did, how can they charge full price? How could they? So I don't know. I don't think Combat Evolved is going to remake or modernize super well. I can see a lot of evidence in that in the gameplay. You know, it's faster. Nearly every animation is way faster. Reloading, even the grunts like diving to the ground and getting up. Halo 1 was in molasses because nobody could play console shooters at the time, so you had to have really slow jumps and really slow turns and really wide spraying guns that just hit everything on the screen. People got way better at that. Game design got way better, way crisper, way faster. So I don't know. I'm not convinced that, especially at $70, this is going to bring any PlayStation users into Halo fandom.
By the way, Lawrence, I don't disagree with any of your points. I completely agree with you. I just think they're going to charge more than we think they're going to charge. I really think that's what we're getting at. By the way, I think your nostalgia point is right on. I think that they're not going to hit the nostalgia as much as they would if they released multiplayer with it. That said, though, I think that they are farming the millennial nostalgia. I don't think they're looking for new players. I think they're only doing this to farm millennial nostalgia. And the one thing we know about farming millennial nostalgia is that they're going to pay money, the money they have now for this thing. And so that's why I'm saying like it's $70, because I think that they probably guessed that the millennials now that were alive in 2001, like me, that loved this game only because it was on console. You're absolutely right about Half-Life being better than it. But it was on console. It was a revolutionary shooter for console because of the 2 joysticks on the controller, the whole deal. They're going to farm that nostalgia, going to milk us for all we're worth, and charge us $70, maybe $60 on Steam. That's what I think.
I think you're right. I think it's been disappointing to see millennial nostalgia become a marketable, bankable thing. Bankable. Because it does kind of lead to anemic products, kind of like it seems like this one. I don't want to pass judgment too early. But yeah, compared to if, God forbid, if it is $70, even if it's $40, I think nostalgia is the only thing that makes it superior to its contemporaries in the market. It also is the lack of ambition in terms of creativity. I mean, there's the prequel missions again, but we didn't see any of that. Everything about the marketing of this has been nostalgia driven, like you said, Bruce. They hit you with the cello strings right away. Dun, 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 dun. Like in every piece of marketing, that's the first thing you hear. And then it's also the best mission in Combat Evolved, because of course it is, that they're going to show you. So I get it. Like they're laser targeting, folks that want to rebuy their youth and have the disposable income to do it. But that disappoints me, because if this is supposed to be, to me, this is not, doesn't give me a lot of faith in Halo Studios in general, that this is the move that they made. It's the safest possible thing to do, as opposed to making anything new or even doing maybe a more interpretive remake or even a reboot. Just do a new Halo man on a new Halo. I get that, like, they're dealing with a nostalgia factor, but yeah, they're licensing Unreal, so they can't even make their own engine, and they're using it to make a game that somebody else already made 20 years ago and trying to modernize it a bit. But yowza, this is like a project that you give to a junior studio, or a studio that's trying to, like, kind of like Virtuos, that's trying to bully their way up into being a world premiere studio that have already done years and years of like code dev and middle dev and not middle management. I'm rambling now. But this concerns me that they spent multiple years after Halo Infinite releasing nothing. I guess they released updates for Infinite, but still, the fact that their next project is the safest possible thing, it's taking no risks, and it's not even trying to do multiplayer. So gosh, if they can't ship this and make it a success, what are they good for? Damn, I hate to be so brutal. But I even if it were just to be a remastered campaign, I expected more, especially in this day and age. I don't think you can get away with just nostalgia and sustain a whole AAA studio on that.
So it's interesting you say all this, because I really think this is what they were doing with Halo Infinite. Like, I thought Halo Infinite evolved the campaign, it evolved the multiplayer, and I think the one thing they didn't do was listen to their community when the community wanted changes. The community was constantly telling them, change this, and they were sort of either slow on the uptake or just never did it. And that's, I think, kind of what killed Halo Infinite. I know it's still going, but, like, there aren't many people that are playing it. And a lot of people gave them a lot of shit for that grappling hook and the open world and all that other stuff. They're like, we want our linear Halo. They want this. They're getting what they want now. And then Halo Infinite was like more of a Twitch multiplayer shooter, right? Like, you had to be quick. It was much faster but they're getting this bullshit, the Halo remake, right? Because that's what they wanted. They said they wanted that. So I'm really curious to see if they buy it, because maybe they do. Maybe the audience actually does want to go back and play the really slow, linear walk through hallways and molasses campaign. I don't know. Like, it's if I'm running Halo Studios, I am at a loss. like we did everything we could do. Evolve multiplayer, evolve campaign. It doesn't do well, and people hate it. So now we're going to do the remake. So we'll see if the remake sells.
Yeah, that's a really fair point. It's possible that it's not due to lack of imagination. It's just, it's a tough market, and it's hard to satisfy people, especially a very dedicated fan base that's been into has had a particular association and a vision for an experience for 2+ decades now. So those are really good points. Those are fair points. In the back of my head, I was hoping that they would announce this and then also say Halo Infinite free-to-play is coming to PlayStation. So you buy the campaign, and then it drives interest, people are curious about it, and then they flow right over and start playing free-to-play multiplayer. in a package that is a little more modernized, a little more wrapped around a controller. Because yeah, I really didn't care for Halo Combat Evolved's multiplayer, you know, coming from things like Quake and Half-Life on PC. It was just, no thanks. But Infinite was pretty fun. And like you said, hewing closer to arena shooter, movement speed and reaction times and mouse aim, thank God. So there's a world there, and I'd like to see it succeed. But the only way I can see this working out, yeah, is if it's got to be $40 or $2. Please don't make it $70.
Hilariously, Lawrence, you and I could talk about Halo forever, but nobody wants to play it or buy it. It's so strange. A lot of people love talking about Halo. I don't think this video is even going to do well. I feel like we put up these videos about Halo, and I'm always like, well, people want to talk about Halo, right? Nobody watches it. So I'm like, I don't know who wants to talk about Halo or what, but it's one of those things that I can't understand has happened to this franchise.
I think I think a bit of it is a North American bias. People tend to assume that the Halo franchise, and even the Xbox franchise in general, is a lot bigger, more influential than it actually is. I was just looking this up. Halo 3 did actually get some decent sales. I think some of them broke over 10 million, which was, it's really good for a mid-2000s shooter. I don't think they've done that since then. Yeah, let's see here. Well, just about 10 million. I think there were some figures claiming 10. I don't think Microsoft really said back in the day. So there is a bit of a proven footprint there. At least there was 10 years ago or so. And I do think there is, there's got to be potential there, but somehow nothing can find it. A TV series, a new game, nothing. But it's a robot man in space shooting aliens. It's such a pure concept.
I don't know. We'll find out, Lawrence. And hey, yeah, I think we're lucky if it's 60 or below. I really do. I think we're very, very lucky. Thank you for watching this video, by the way. If you did, hopefully you're one of the 10 Halo fans left. Consider subscribing if you enjoyed our coverage and discussion of Halo. And check out the Inside Games Patreon. All our content is there for free. Plus, you get a Lawrence meme. Lawrence, are you going to post a Halo meme today? Nope, no pressure.
I'll look for one. My meme sack is just a series of pictures that I've dumped in there without renaming or anything. So it's kind of difficult to find anything specific. It's just a big potpourri of spicy memes from the aughts and later. So check it out. I'll try to find something Halo related. I'm sure it shouldn't be that hard. And hey, speaking of, we got some patrons that support the show directly through Patreon. We'd like to shout them out for not teabagging us, even though they had the chance. They were standing right over us, could have clicked that stick, but didn't. Koji Min, Spirit Bear 2, Jesse Russo, and Splinkerton Folkendoggen. Thank you very much.
Radalog, Roy G. Bivness, Palix, and Rooster.
I'm gonna draw a little penis on the wall with that gun. Just in homage to you. Nice.